Roy L. Bean. He held court in a saloon, used a 6-gun as a gavel, and, between drinks, dispensed his own brand of justice. We'll step into his courtroom as the first stop on our journey into the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. Get as close as you dare to the fangs of a lethal diamondback rattlesnake. Watch the rare performance of wild dolphins who play with humans. Join a Belgian bomb squad in a dangerous mission of search and destroy. Make a sandwich out of a squirming mass of insects in Mexico. Search through mountains of mud to find pure emeralds in South America. Share the terror of sea lions rushing to escape the jaws of a killer whale. Learn how master forgers duplicate the crown jewels of England. Dive into an underwater farm that produces some of the rarest pearls in the world. Witness the desperate effort to save the lives of stranded whales. Go to the top with an English steeplejack who has a knack for knocking things down. The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to.
Believe it or not.
Jersey Lily Saloon. Proprietor, Judge Roy L. Bean. Back when business was booming and Roy L. Bean was running a saloon like this, you could get just about anything you wanted at the Jersey Lily, as long as it was rot-gut whiskey or frontier justice. Roy L. Bean dispensed both in more or less equal proportions. Judge Bean held court at a bar like this, based his rulings more on common sense than on this tattered copy of Texas law, and backed them up with a 6-gun he used as a gavel. Back in the 1880s, he wrangled an appointment as Justice of the Peace and put on judicial airs as easy as taking off his barkeep's apron. And although there were no court reporters present, books and newspapers have preserved what he had to say. I declare this court in order. Now, fact seems simple enough. This cowboy broke his neck and died when he fell off the railroad bridge. I ruled that to be death from natural causes. Cowboy was drunk at the time. And this was what the coroner, that's me, found on his person. A Smith & Wesson 6-gun and $40 in cash. Court hereby confiscates this pistol as evidence and fines the corpse $10 for carrying a concealed weapon. The coroner, that's me, will bury the body for a fee of $20. Court costs are $10, leaving a balance of $0. That's my ruling. Court is adjourned. He got to the point without a lot of fancy talk. Even when he performed a marriage ceremony, he didn't mince words. He skipped all the dearly beloved part and got right to the meat of it. Join hands, he'd say. Give me $10. I hereby pronounce you man and wife, and may God have mercy on your souls. Despite his abrupt performance at weddings, the judge was an incurable romantic. He maintained a lifelong, long-distance infatuation with the famous English actress, Lily Langtry. He named his saloon after her, the Jersey Lily. In a letter to her, he even told her he'd named the town in her honor, but that was a lie. The town had been named for a railroad engineer long before the judge ever got there. But Judge Bean never let the facts get in the way of his rulings or of a good story. And That's pretty much the way things have been since a judge died in 1903. In movies and books, he has been transformed into the hanging judge. The truth is that in all my years as the law west of the Pecos, I never sentenced anyone to be hanged. It just wasn't good for business. Believe it or not.
This sci-fi
Part of the park's famous wildlife show, Andy is not a performer. He is frequently called upon to use his knowledge for such things as testing prototype boots that are supposed to be snake-proof. The fragile skin of an inflated balloon will provide a sensitive substitute for a human leg. The boot must prevent the slightest penetration of these venomous fangs. The balloon tells the story. Boots that pass the balloon test in the laboratory are next submitted to a field trial conducted in the wild. Andy will not guarantee a boot until it has been struck some 500 times by full-grown rattlers. The test takes on a new element of danger as the snakes are placed in their natural habitat. The movements of a snake in the grass are far less predictable than in the laboratory. Andy's life will be on the line. He is allergic to anti-venom, the only medication that can save his life if the boot should fail. Andy Koukoulas pursues his tests with the stubborn courage of a thorough and dedicated man. Others will tread a hostile wilderness in safety because he has walked the path of danger ahead of them. Men like Andy challenge death every day. Sometimes it strikes in the form of nature. At other times, the threat is man-made and infinitely more destructive. During the 1940s, World War II raged across Europe, raining destruction upon the land. Today, 40 years later, Europe's grim harvest of World War II is still being gathered. Farmers still plow up unexploded shells and place them by the roadsides for collection. Lethal relics like this are resurrected from the Belgian soil at the frightening rate of almost 10 a day, 365 days a year. The risky job of disarming and destroying them is in the hands of Belgium's bomb disposal squad. They are all military volunteers. The fuse must be removed first. The least miscalculation or the slightest jar can set them off. For accepting such hazardous duty, the soldiers get a bonus of about $2 a day. Twice each working day, the 75 men of the bomb force collect and bury truckloads of munitions for destruction. A siren warns nearby residents. World War II is far from over. 165 members of the Belgian bomb force have given their lives to make their homeland safe. This memorial service honors the heroes of a war that refuses to go away. Not all people who risk their lives in the line of duty are heroes. For some, it's simply the way they make their living. Fred Dibner, an English steeplejack, is such a man. He is a craftsman, as proud of his skills as he is of his achievements. Fred Dibner has been a steeplejack in Bolton, England for over 20 years. He will tackle anything from the town hall clock to flagpoles, churches, and chimneys. But it is chimneys that are his special province. Factory chimneys as tall as 20-story buildings. Fred's specialty is tearing them down, and each one offers a different challenge. This smokestack can't be toppled the usual way because of nearby buildings, so Fred has devised an ingenious method for solving the problem. He will single-handedly dismantle it brick by brick from the top down. Then, instead of throwing the bricks overboard, he merely lets the chimney swallow itself and deposit its bricks in a small pile far below. To topple a chimney from below, Fred prefers a method 100 years old. Some people use explosives, but Fred says his method is more spectacular. He begins by removing bricks and replacing them with wooden supports. Next, using old tires, lumber, and other scraps to create a good hot fire, he prepares to burn the props out from under it. His old-fashioned method may seem haphazard, but Fred has calculated every step and is convinced it will work.
A bit more wood round this side. Yeah, want to hear it roar.
Public safety demands that the 200-foot chimney land within a confined area. Confident he can do it, Fred lights his fire. If Fred has planned correctly, the supports will collapse and the chimney will fall exactly when and where he wants it to.
I hope the bloody thing goes. It's going. Going.
Run, 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 run.
To assist an attorney in accident cases, stuntman Alan Gibbs duplicates the details of dangerous crashes. Believe it or not.
Remember all those tans we used to get? Now they're turning to wrinkles. So what can we do? Today, we can give our skin a second chance. A leading dermatologist announced the next generation of skincare, proven to reduce a look of fine lines and wrinkles. Now, one lotion contains beta-hydroxycomplex with protective SPF 15 and hydrating moisture to help smooth and lift away the look of fine lines and wrinkles. And the name? Oil of Olay New Protective Renewal Lotion. A second chance for younger-looking skin.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. For as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats, good for you, sure, but you really want the big sweet crunch that brings out the kid in you. If you are amongst the very young at heart.
Oh, look at that.
Do people really call psychics?
I do.
You call?
Yes, and I get advice that really helps.
I can't believe you call.
Well, believe it. I used to be just as close-minded as you guys. But when they offered 10 minutes free, I decided to call.
What was it like?
Was it really free? Yes, it was really free. It was incredible. You should just try it for the 10 free minutes.
Thanks to a recent scientific breakthrough in Japan, it's no longer necessary to bother with such inessentials as knives, forks, and spoons. Or even chopsticks, for that matter. All you need now when you sit down to eat is a pair of scissors. At least that's true if you're eating pullulan. It comes packaged between sheets of plastic, and it looks like cellophane or paper. But actually, it's food. This, for instance, not only tastes like apple, it really is apple, in a very dried, very compact form. You can have pullulan eggs, pullulan noodles, spinach, dried fish. The manufacturers are still experimenting, but there may be no limit to the foods that can be reduced to these thin sheets. A stack of sheets half the thickness of an ordinary newspaper can hold a year's supply of groceries. And most important, pullulan doesn't spoil. You could develop a real liking for pullulan, which only serves to remind us that when it comes to food, there's no accounting for taste. In the crowded commercial city of Bombay, India, going out for lunch can be a hectic affair. As a result, many office workers prefer an unusual fast food service that delivers meals prepared to the exact specifications of each customer. For Amy Bakhtawar, it is a service that begins at home. She and her mother share a small apartment in a Bombay suburb. While Amy joins her friends to catch a commuter train to work, her mother becomes the first link in an extraordinary chain of events that is unique to Bombay. Every morning, home-cooked meals like this are placed inside special containers called dabas. And every morning, they are picked up by men called dabawalas. It is their job to see to it that Amy's lunch gets to her piping hot and on time. Amy's lunch now becomes part of a complex relay system that will deliver it and thousands just like it. Only these coded symbols distinguish Amy's from all the other dabas. Within minutes, a second dabawala wheels it through the city streets to its next stop, a railway terminal. Here, the dabas are sorted by destination and become part of a vast dabawala network. On the third leg of the relay, another dabawala makes sure the right lunches get on the right train. Earlier, this train carried people to work. Now it brings them their lunch. Individually prepared, but now apparently anonymous. As lunch hour approaches, still another dabawala hurries to make his delivery. It's a matter of pride that no customer has to wait for the dabawala. It seems an impossibility, but lunch is seldom late. Records show that out of the daily deliveries of over 100,000, only 10 to 15 ever get lost. Amy identifies hers by the markings on its lid, the same code that has guided it all the way. She and her co-workers enjoy their hot, home-cooked lunch, knowing that when they return home that evening, their dabbas will already be there. While some take pleasure in having their food delivered to them, others will sometimes journey a long way for a special treat. Once each year, the people of Tasco in Mexico walk nearly 8 miles up the side of this mountain for a feast. A time to gather together and enjoy a special delicacy, the humil, a bug related to both the louse and the cockroach. Its name means strong-smelling creature. Humiles are found in abundance only in the month of November, and only then can they be gathered in sufficient numbers for the festival. Their pungent flavor can be blended into the spicy sauces traditional to the local diet. According to those who've tried them, however, nothing can disguise their taste. The Indian ancestors of the people of Tasco also used humiles for medicinal purposes. Some of the participants in the festival prefer their humiles mixed with more traditional foods to tone down their powerful flavor. But some enjoy them just as they are. An appetite for humiles in Tasco is a tradition no more unusual in its way than the ingredients sold here in Lockport, Illinois. This is the headquarters of Zimmer Foods, purveyors of prime cuts for those with exotic tastes.
That'll be $78.98 for one baby pig, 38 pounds and 10 ounces.
For 70 years, Zimmer's has been supplying their customers with an astounding variety of meats. The prices may not be the lowest in town, but the selection leaves little to be desired. Shoppers at Zimmer's can find anything they want, as long as it is not on the list of endangered species.
Here's a beaver leg, which is very nice roasted. And if they don't care for that, here we have something that's very, very tasty. Rattlesnake meat, fried like a chicken or broiled like chicken, or you can make a real nice pate from it. It's very delicious.
A family business, Zimmer's is now run by 3 brothers, the second generation since its founding in 1914.
This is elk ground meat. This happens to be $4.75 a pound. We sold legs of ostrich for $13.50 a pound. We just sent some tenderloin from the hippopotamus out to a restaurant, and that was $12.50 a pound.
What we have here is barbecued lion ribs, which I cook up for my brothers and myself, and it's quite tasty and very tender.
Barbecued lion may not appeal to some, but Zimmer's assures one and all that every item in the store is not only tasty, but absolutely legal. Potatoes. Each year we consume over 14 million tons of them, mashed, fried, and boiled. About 120 pounds each for every man, woman, and child in the United States. But you can do more with potatoes than eat them. Scientists have figured out a way how to harness the power of the lowly potato. For example, this digital clock. It has no batteries. Instead, it has these copper and zinc probes. And if you stick the probes into the potatoes, like this, the clock works. Potato power. Believe it or not.
In 1977, Texan Steve Weldon consumed 100 yards of spaghetti in under 29 seconds. Believe it or not.
Jenny,
alive, the creature whose flesh once covered these bones was one of the largest animals on Earth. A blue whale. From the tip of its tail to the end of its jutting jaw, the distance is 72 feet. There's room enough here inside the rib cage to set up light housekeeping. When the whale was still alive, however, it would have been more than a little crowded in here. An adult whale eats more than 4 million shrimp a day during the feeding season. This one, a male about 25 years old, weighed close to 70 tons when it washed ashore. It had died at sea of unknown causes. It took more than 2 years for experts and volunteers here at the Museum of Natural History in Santa Barbara, California, to clean the bones and assemble them for display. They had to use a crane to put all the pieces together. The head, skull and jaws weighs over 3,500 pounds, and inside the skull, a brain that weighed over 10 pounds, about 3 times larger than a human brain, and in many ways, very much like our own. Whales, as well as other mammals of the sea, have much in common with man. Only recently, however, have scientists begun to investigate the sometimes curious relationship between man and the creatures of the deep. Dolphins have intrigued people since ancient times with their grace, their mystery, and their intelligence. Despite occasional contacts, however, dolphins usually stay well away from people. That's what makes a remote beach in Western Australia called Monkey Mia such an extraordinary place. Here, dolphins seek out people. Most of the dolphin visitors are regulars who have been coming in here for years. Many have been given names like Nicky and Joy. Ringer, a long-time resident of Monkey Mia, waits patiently to see what the dolphin will do. Such encounters are extremely rare. This happens nowhere else in the world, and no one knows why. All that is certain is that both dolphins and humans enjoy it. In aquariums like this, the huge sea animal called Orcinus orca seems little more than a gentle playmate. But Orcinus orca is also called the killer whale. In the South Atlantic, packs of killer whales approach the beach not to play, but to hunt. Sea lions and their pups are safe only as long as they stay out of the water. Nearby, killer whales begin a stealthy approach. They hunt in family groups and make elaborate, well-coordinated attacks. First, the pups are only pushed, a rough game that teaches hunting to young killers. The only chance the pups have is to make it to the shore. The The sea lions crowding the beach make it difficult for the others to reach the shore safely. Killer whales, the shore is a hunting ground. Other whales, however, thrive only in the open sea, where there is room to move freely. Despite their immense size, great whales move with ease and speed through the water. They travel in packs, however, and because they almost always follow their leader, the result can be mass tragedy. On June 16th, 1979, 42 sperm whales ran aground on an Oregon beach. Whales breathe air, but without water to support them, they are crushed by their own weight. Local people were stunned by the immensity of the disaster. Most in the crowd could only watch, unsure of what they could do to help. Some, however, tried. The desperate effort to return them to the water was a race against time. The effort was doomed, but the attempt reaffirmed man's respect for life and determination to preserve it. Why whales strand themselves is a mystery. Some call it suicide, but can only guess at the reason for it. The whales navigate by sonar. Many naturalists believe infections can disrupt the leader's sense of depth and direction and send him fatally astray, followed faithfully by all the members of the group. This stranding gave scientists a grim but valuable opportunity for study. The blood and tissue samples gathered on this beach will substantially increase human knowledge about whales. The death of these whales, because they came too close to the shore, is a reminder of how delicate the balance of life can be. Perhaps the knowledge gathered here will help prevent future tragedy and strengthen the growing bond between man and the mammals of the sea. An Arctic whale called the narwhal has a spiral tusk that can be as long as 8 feet. Believe it or not.
As lifelike as it is lovely, it would be next to impossible to duplicate this exquisite masterpiece. It's called the Imperial Basket of Lilies of the Valley, and it was created by Peter Carl Fabergé. In the final years before the Revolution, Fabergé had been appointed jeweler of the Imperial Court of Russia. In his day, as now, it was a custom of the Orthodox Holy Festival to celebrate Easter with 3 kisses and the gift of an egg. From the beginning, Fabergé was allowed complete freedom of expression with one rigid royal stipulation. Each egg must contain some sort of fabulous surprise. The Imperial Easter egg of 1893, created of solid gold and studded with precious stones. It has 4 oval panels around the middle, which are hinged and open to disclose ivory miniatures. This egg alone has been valued at over $1 million. Of the 53 which were presented to the Tsarinas and the Dowager Empress, the locations of 43 are known. For collectors, the missing 10 have inspired a relentless treasure hunt for the most priceless eggs in the world. Some people, though, don't have to search for treasure. It is brought to them by devoted followers. In March 1946, in Bombay, India, the Aga Khan, spiritual leader of the world's Ismaili Muslims, prepared to celebrate 60 years of rule with a jubilee, a diamond jubilee. The glittering emblems of devotion were gathered not in mere carats or ounces, but by the bushel. The people assembled here knew the spectacle would not be repeated in this century. The Aga Khan would be given his weight in diamonds. To balance the scales required diamonds then worth over $2 million. The Aga Khan weighed over 243 pounds. Most of the treasure went to charity. The Aga Khan kept only 1 stone as a souvenir. Until a gemstone is cut and polished, it is little more than a rock. Once shaped, however, its value is multiplied. 1 rough emerald, for example, can be cut into 14 finished gems, worth over $360,000. To find the raw material for the jeweler's art, mining companies have transformed this remote mountain in Colombia, South America, into an open pit. Heavy equipment strips the rock bare of vegetation and soil, but much of the work must be done by hand. But the reward is worth the effort. In the river of mud left by the professionals, a few precious stones remain, enough to attract a determined horde of amateur miners. They are called the Huagueros, the treasure hunters. They hope to find stones overlooked by the mechanized operation. Methodically, entire families sift through the mud. It is back-breaking labor, motivated by the need to survive and a desperate dream. A single stone can bring enough money to enable a treasure hunter to leave this place forever. There are no banks or assay offices here. The site is visited regularly by dealers called esmeralderos. The badge of their profession is the towel each wears to wipe the mud from stones shown to them. They must make their judgments on the spot, rating each emerald by size, color, and overall quality. With offer and counteroffer, deals are negotiated and closed on the spot. Even the luckiest treasure hunter will probably never see the end result of the back-breaking effort after it has been brought to perfection by the jeweler's art. Given shape by man, such jewels are created by the earth itself. Only 1 precious jewel is produced by a living creature. Here, in an idyllic South Pacific lagoon, riches thrive just below the surface. For Jean Tapu and his assistant, tending a future fortune requires little more than a daily swim. Strictly speaking, Jean is not a miner, nor is he really a farmer, although he does cultivate a bountiful crop. Tapu grows oysters, over 50,000 at a time. He knows that under natural conditions, only about 1 in 10,000 will produce a pearl. He and others like him, however, have developed techniques that boost the odds dramatically. The process takes 5 years, but the result is phenomenal. 1 oyster in every 3 will produce a pearl. As each year's crop matures, they are harvested and brought to the surface. Whether or not they have actually produced pearls will not be known until they are opened. The odds, however, are in favor of the farmer. With the expert flick of a knife, Tapu opens and examines each oyster, then gently probes for the pearl that may be embedded within. Most pearls are white, but not here. They are gray or black, which makes them even more valuable. This one could be worth as much as $8,000, and it is only one in a rare crop that has yielded pearls worth almost $500,000. In June 1953, treasure played a symbolic role in making a young woman a queen. Whoever wears the priceless imperial crown of state rules Great Britain. On that day, it was placed on the head of Elizabeth II. There is only one imperial crown. In a quiet London side street, however, it is duplicated to order. Here, master craftsmen create perfect copies for anyone who wants to wear a monarch's crown. The copy will match the original in every detail, including intricate metalwork and settings that must accommodate almost 3,000 separate stones. The full, rich luster is brought out with repeated buffing and polishing. Only when that is finished can all the pieces be put together, including this duplicate of the historic and romantic stone known as the Ruby of the Black Prince. It takes meticulous attention to detail to produce such a copy of a great treasure, and the finished product can end up in some unusual places. This is the Imperial Crown of State of Great Britain. Artificial, but beautiful. It's on display here in the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Los Angeles. If this were the real imperial crown, only one person in the world would have the legal right to wear it: Queen Elizabeth II. Or Holly Palance the First. Believe it or not.
The great American showman, P.T. Barnum, made a fortune running a museum. Not like this one, but one in which he put the oddities of the world on display. Some of them were out-and-out frauds, but that didn't seem to bother the customers. They would buy their tickets and come in and gawk all day, which became a problem for Mr. Barnum. If he couldn't get one audience out, he couldn't get another one in. So he brought in a new attraction. Folks flocked to see the egress and found themselves outside the museum before they realized that egress was just another word for exit, which proved all over again that P.T. Barnum was right when he said, "There's a sucker born every minute." Believe it or not.
The mysteries of aliens, the magic of Houdini, the miracles of angels. Now the real stories and events are explained in a thrilling original series, Mysteries, Magic, and Miracles, hosted by Patrick McNee. Coming up next.